Hello fellow sim racers and welcome to the 11th and final, at least for me, of these Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4 preview videos where I'm going through every single car in the pack and taking it through in racing conditions. As I've said in every one of the other videos, if you want to know more detailed, nuanced stuff about the cars in the pack, then go and watch the main video over on the main channel. But this is all about taking the car around a circuit in race trim and giving you my opinions as I drive it. We get a rocket start. In fact, I'm going to have to back out or run into the back of the Alpine, I think it was there. 3 wide, always a good place to be on the run down to turn 1 at Barcelona. We'll stick here to the outside. I'm going to chicken out, brake very early because I don't want to run into the back of the AMG. And again, as I've said in every other video, we have super cold tyres because, well, there are no tyre warmers in European GT3 series, which this is based on. We can't turn in for the apex there because there's an Aston Martin there. We're going to have to cede that position as we understeer horribly wide on those tyres that are just not really doing what they're supposed to be at the moment. No problem, we have plenty of time to deal with the Aston Martin and the various other cars in front. I think it's kind of fitting that the Porsche is the last of the cars that I'm going to be driving here. I mean, I'm doing it because it's the last alphabetically, but really I think this is one of the best cars out of the pack in terms of raciness, in terms of its sort of operating window. It goes well in all conditions from what I've seen, and it seems to just go quickly everywhere. At the more open circuits like here at Barcelona and the tight twisty stuff, which these GT4 cars are so suited to. As I get very caught up through canvas behind this rather slow Aston Martin, you're going to have to get past him. Don't really have the overrun to run out the inside of the AMG GT4. Was tempted though, I will admit. So what is there to say about the Porsche? Well, the 718 Cayman is, well, it drives like a Porsche. It's got that, as it demonstrates itself perfectly there, it's got that tendency to lift off oversteer, that Porsche handling trait that if you abuse it, bad, but it's something you can use to rotate the car. As I think what I did going through the right-hander before the final chicane there was somewhere between the two, so you get a healthy dose of toe, thanks courtesy of the AMG GT4 there. Let's pick a braking point. I don't know where it is because I've not done any practice at Barcelona in this car. This is very much unknown territory for me. As you'll see, as I take a very timid approach to turn 3, as it's the first time I've really done it in anger, we're still about 0.7 of a PSI on that critical front left tyre, down on where it should be on these GT4s. They run slightly lower tyre pressures than the GT3s. But the grip is still very much there. It's not like some of the other cars in the pack, which during the early laps of the race feel awful. Like the first lap in, for example, the BMW is a bit tricky. And in the Corvette, not the Corvette, what am I talking about? The Camaro is, wow, Audi is slow coming through the turn 7 chicane. In fact, we are in a KTM train here. I don't think it's the KTM. The Crossbow is the fastest car by any stretch, and we're going to send it here because wow, that was a lot of send. That was more than I intended. Let's slot in behind the Ginetta and thank our lucky stars that we got away with that. Thank you, compliant AI. I knocked it down to 97% for this one, just because I wanted to make sure we got a race, but I think I may have gone a bit far. Especially as I'm still trying to find the limits for the car. And not quite up to tyre pressure on the left front. Need to adjust that if I redo this, but I don't think I'm going to. I've got a good feeling about this race. So yeah, Cayman not the most exciting of the cars to drive in the pack. I think that probably does go to the BMW, which just a little bit leery, but as you can see, it's pretty handy in a straight line. And now we're hopefully clear of this KTM. I thought we were going to get a little bit of a punt on the back. Thankfully not. I'm going to understeer wide if I'm not careful here. Just had to blend the throttle out a little bit. I got on the power too early there. Blame it on lack of familiarity with the car. And as we will with the poor attempt at braking there. So yeah, as I was saying, this is a car that just seems to excel in all circumstances. There's very little bad to say about it at all. Arguably not the best sounding car in the pack. It just sounds okay, and that's nothing to do with the sound design in the game. It's just not the most exciting sounding engine of these GT4 cars. I think the KTM does a good job of sounding pretty great. So does the BMW that we're about to pull up behind as well. Pick a braking point for the hairpin, which I've not had to do yet because it's been send every lap. We've got KTM on the inside. Somehow get away with it, but he's actually got back past us. Fair play. Very short-lived. Right, let's go after this BMW. Because, well, I guess that's what this whole thing's about. Wow. Gotta love the Porsche lift-off oversteer. When it gets you, it really gets you. Now, you might notice I've got a bit of a track limits violation there. It's my suspicion, and I've tried to confirm this with the Kunos devs, but they give me a bit of a wishy-washy answer, if I'm honest. I think the track limits are slightly different for the GT4 cars. Pick a braking point. Hope it makes sense. Probably could have braked a couple of meters later, but not bad, not bad. There you go. Turn 3 actually has a similar lift-off and power down points to the GT3 cars, which is sort of helpful. Means I don't have to overthink it too much. Something I noticed with the GT4s actually is the braking points are sometimes very similar and sometimes very not similar. For example, a lot of the braking points in the early part of the lap for this Porsche Cayman are pretty close. But then when you get down to the end of the straight, where you're not doing anything like the same VMAX as the GT3 cars, the braking point is quite a bit later. Other places it's earlier, where you don't have maybe the downforce or the same braking power, as I've carried far too much speed into campus. Let's do a better job of this than I've been doing. We've got 1.6 seconds to make up to the BMW. Pick a braking point. That was too early last time. Still a bit early that time. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot more to say about this Porsche. It's just really sorted. It's definitely a car I will be using online. So, yeah. Still learning how to drive it. Carrying far too much speed into the chicane again. But even then, it's a lot more forgivable. Sorry, it's more forgiving than the GT3 cars in the sense that you can just sort of rotate them a little bit easier. You can manipulate the mid-corner because they're much more mechanical rather than aero-bound. They've got more ride height, so you're not worrying about curbs in the same way. I don't know, there's just a bit more flexibility, so if you do make those small mistakes, it's not quite as killer. That is what I would normally describe as a famous last word. So this is going to be our last lap. What are the lap times? Like 1:55, so we're about 10-12 seconds shy of... Ooh, yeah, about 12 seconds shy of the GT3 times. Although I don't think this is anything close to my maximum potential lap time. I know high 143s in the GT3 car from memory. And I suspect I could probably do a 53 if I really hooked it up in this. But I'm talking to you guys and I've done no practice. And I'm making mistakes, drifting miles wide of every apex, as is quite aptly demonstrated here. There you go, turn 9, campus. Bit easier this time round, and turns out you gain a whole bunch of time if you do it properly. Maybe we will get another lap. It depends how far the leader is ahead, I think. I think we will, though. That's good, because I can go after this BMW, and then maybe, if I'm feeling particularly optimistic, and I think I am, go after the Camaro, which is a definite favourite of mine in the real world. I'm not sure how much I'm getting on with the driving experience in ACC at the moment. It is very understeery, so you actually have to back out in the final turn for fear of running into the BMW. Still, it's a pretty big profile on that car compared to the Cayman, and the Slipstream doing pretty well. Not getting the same overrun speed as we were getting on the KTM though. So BMW doing a good job of staying with me in the braking zone. Thankfully the layout of turn 2 and 3 here at Barcelona sort of saved me. Couldn't quite keep the foot in the whole way there either, because I was wrong-footed by having to make room for the Bimmer. This is a very enjoyable car to drive. Some of the other cars have slightly quirky handling experiences, and that makes them fun, but this just feels right. I know that's probably not the most descriptive thing in the world, but you know, you just, when you get a car underneath you that just does exactly what you want it to, it goes everywhere you point it. You know, I am now 5 laps into this. I've done no practice, and other than probably getting into the wrong gear there, you know, this lap's looked pretty tidy. Obviously lost a load of time overtaking the BMW to start with, but the car's just doing the right thing. What more can you ask? Slightly better driver in the seat. That's probably what I'd go for. Not going to have time to catch up to the Camaro, but you know what? That's really not the end of the world. And if you've made it through this video, and God forbid if you made it through all 11, then fair play. Not sure. I've got to edit these, and I'm not even sure I'm going to make it through all 11. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series of videos. They've been great fun to make. It's very rare that I do racing videos on this channel, so honestly, it's been so much fun to just sit aside and dedicate a day to just smashing through a bunch of races and recording them and chatting to you guys. Well, pretending you guys are there while I'm talking to myself, if I'm honest. Anyway, do go and check out the main GT4 review video if you haven't done so already. That's a lot more coherent than this. So I guess then all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching these guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.